Worry solves nothing. Hey guys, it's John here in the studio, enjoying a beautiful mug of coffee this morning. I wanted to hop on and talk about the events of this past week in a different way. I put up a video telling people to be okay. I spent the next week deleting profanity, uh, harmful words, slanderous words, people screaming and yelling that it's not going to be okay. Worry has never solved anything. Concern has never solved anything. Our thoughts are creative. You believing that it's not going to be okay is creating that outcome. We might not like the results of an election, but nothing is happening yet. And all we have is a stimulus to either act upon or react upon. And the reacting is the slander, the anger, the fear. People say, I'm not fearful, I'm angry. Well, anger is a product of fear. Negative emotions are products of fear. And you can act without that fear by releasing it, by exhaling and coming back to that space of being calm and having your cognitive reasoning. Or you can be succumbing to negatively focused uncertainty, which is one of the definitions of fear. Negatively focused uncertainty. The choice to be negative about it is a choice. The fact that it's uncertain means there's nothing fated or destined that's going to happen. Someone saying it's not going to be okay is someone focused on the negative, and it's uncertain at this time. So focusing on the negative only empowers the negative. It only leaning into fighting against it before there's anything to fight against really only empowers it, because when you fight against it like that, it just emboldens them to steal the resolve. We have the ability to be the loving influence in the world. We have the ability to not accept. We have the ability to peacefully resist. We have the ability to have peaceful noncompliance. We have the ability to love one another. We have the ability to listen to people and find out why they felt so marginalized that they voted the way they did. But instead, we're saying us and them and they. Well, they are humans just like you. They love their families just like you. They are also in a world where they have felt marginalized. But rather than standing behind walls and saying us and they, how about saying, hey, tell me about it. Hey, why do you feel marginalized? Find out why they felt marginalized. I mean, they felt so marginalized that they felt they needed somebody to give retribution for them. Why did they feel that way? They must have been fearful and angry themselves. They must have come to a place where they felt desperate enough to vote for someone who would say such harmful, hateful things, right? Well, loving them would be to find out why. Loving them would be to open a dialogue and a conversation. But to simply focus on negatively focused uncertainty and create negatively only creates more of that. The Bhagavad Gita says, thought by thought you forge your destiny, therefore to keep your mind on the positive rather than the negative is considered the austerity of the mind. The Buddha says, what you think you become, you create your world. If you're thinking negatively and fearfully, you are creating the world that is negative and fearful. We don't have to like the things that are happening in this moment, but if we focus on them and we fight against them, we empower them. It's a matter of stepping into this moment, choosing to be an action hero, not a reaction zero. I'm choosing to exhale, release the primal fear response, and then act in accordance to the world that I am creating or the world that I want to live in. That's how we change this. We don't change this by being angry, by being worried. Those are just present moment choices. Let's just say, okay, this is what it is. And I am not complying with a world that is unloving and uncaring. I am not living into a world where people are subjugating me or marginalizing other humans, other people in this world. We don't have to lay down, but we do need to start listening and understanding why. You have the ability. You have the ability to choose. You have the ability to step into a world and say, I am not participating in the negative world that you want to create, and I am not allowing it to happen to my friends and neighbors. You just start creating a world, creating an environment, creating a community of people who want to live in a loving, joyful world. And you start listening to the people who are fearful. Remember, if they're mad, they're angry, they're frustrated enough to vote the way they did, that's because they're afraid of something. In reality, in the end, they did not feel like they were heard. And so they leaned out to find a way to feel safe, feel like they had someone who was protecting them. Because when you are in fear, you need a protector. So let's, rather than focusing on the outcome of the election, let's focus on alleviating the fears of the people who voted the way they did. Let's alleviate the fears of our fellow humans, despite government. I leave you one commandment: love one another. It doesn't say love one another unless they believe differently than you. Simply love one another. Lean into the love, the capacity to love, the ability to love. Whatever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. Lean into the love that Jeshua spoke of, and Buddha spoke of, and Krishna spoke of, and even Muhammad spoke of. Muhammad said, he who knows not kindness has no faith. You have to be kind to have faith, to be a Muslim. That's what Muhammad said. Love one another. That's what Jeshua said. You have the ability to live into a world of compassion, but that compassion starts with you. And it doesn't start if you are negatively focused on uncertainty. So in my mind, let's set down our fears and anxieties. Let's get back into our cognitive reasoning. Actors, if they forget their lines, they're trained to exhale and relax all their muscles. Why? Because they shut off the primal fight or flight response and they turn on their cognitive reasoning. Because the primal fight or flight response shuts off cognitive reasoning of anything that's not focused on filling the lungs with air and surviving this minute. Well, in this minute, the best way to handle this situation is to exhale and focus on a joyful, loving outcome and accepting nothing less. In the end, you have no idea what will happen in the future. Yeah, they've promised a lot of things, they've created a lot of things, but you have no idea what's going to happen in the future. All you can do is manage your present moment and don't go along with things that aren't loving, caring, and creating a world that you want to live in. Don't go along with it. But as long as you're worried and concerned, you're actually feeding the thing that you don't like. You're actually giving it the power to succeed. Worry has never solved anything. Worry has never solved anything. Live this moment. Choose to create differently than the people who are scared. Find out what they're scared about, alleviate their fears, let them see that we're not bad people. Let them see that all humans are their brothers and sisters. Help them. Don't fight them, because fighting them only makes them stronger. And that's my thought on this. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See you. Bye.